So, getting into Katamari Damacy wasn't on my bingo list for 2026. In Katamari, you basically play as the prince and roll around to gather up all the objects strewn across the map at the behest of the King of Cosmos, who is your dad in this game. One of my close friends has always said that I would love this game, and I really just can't imagine why. Dad, you should look away for a second. So I decided to draw them all rotating around the Katamari. It's kind of, I mean, the whole reason you play the game is you are rolling this thing around. So it made sense to draw everything surrounding and rotating around the Katamari. Especially because, like, all the cousins and the king and the queen, they're all aliens and they're all, like, in space and stuff. So I also liked the idea of everyone rotating around it like they're orbiting a planet. You make planets in the game, so this is just, felt appropriate. The first two that I drew outside of the king, queen, and prince is Ace and Dip. I think they're cute. I like Dip a lot. Dip is one of my favorite cousins. Probably my first like real favorite outside of the prince. Um, so I am struggling, but I'm genuinely quite happy with the pose I did with the king. He looks very dramatic, which is the way he is. Here I am suffering, trying to get the arm good, the arm to look right for the queen over here. For some reason, I thought that shoulder should be in front of the face, which I quickly fixed, thank God. The queen is a little smaller than the king. She's very cute. She's the nice one out of the parents, apparently, in the game. Yeah, I really enjoy drawing them. The king is really funny. He says a lot of like really unhinged things in the game. Um, Also, I would like to argue this game is a fucking horror game. You literally roll up buildings in some of these like levels. You roll up people. It's really like if it wasn't so bright and colorful and cheerful, this would be a horror game. I hope there's a mod somewhere that actually makes it into a horror game. That'd be kind of fun to play at some point. I wouldn't surprise me if there was, because it really, it's just one of those games where the concept, if you think about it outside of the package it's presented in, it's quite horrifying. I mean, in the game, humans like scream as you roll them up. It's wild. I'm sure there's a Wilhelm scream somewhere in that game. But it's fun, and I really do genuinely love this game. It's a lot of fun, and I can't wait to play more of it. I pretty much beat Once Upon a Time, which is the newest Katamari Damacy game, over the course of like a month and a half. I have it almost 100% complete. One of the first big mistakes, actually, was I used Once Upon a Time to get like pose ideas for all the cousins, because I didn't know very much about them. Whenever you look at their Wikipedia, they only have like 2 or 3 sentences of like information, and they have pictures of them, and they have some idol poses, but Once Upon a Time has an idol pose for every single cousin. So, but you have to go and collect all the cousins. So I had to go around in the game and collect all 69 of the cousins, and it took a long time. Also, the idol poses, like, then I had to go in and, like, manually change my character to each of the cousins, move them around a little bit to try and get them to use their idol pose, their idol animation. And then once they did that, I basically just had my Switch next to me on constantly. Probably not great for it, but oh well. And I would just look over and reference it, because unfortunately this game is so new that not all of the cousins are listed in the Wikipedia yet, which that's a free service. Like, I super don't blame the people who run the Wikipedia for not having all these new cousins, because there's 11 of the cousins are completely new to the games and are introduced in Once Upon a Katamari. And these cousins are not on the Wikipedia yet, which is unfortunate for me. I had to rely even more so on my Switch for those specific cousins. I couldn't just look up like their designs online. I mean, I probably could actually now that I think about it, but I didn't find them on the Wikipedia um, page for it. And or wiki, I should say wiki. It's not Wikipedia. Um, there's not a Wikipedia page for the cousin that looks like a mushroom. that and if there was, of course, it would only be a couple lines. But anyway, so since I didn't have any references on the wiki of the 11 new cousins from Once Upon a Time, those specific ones I had to use my Switch to look at. So I would have to go into my Switch again, get them to do their little idle animation, which you have to like kind of wiggle them a couple times to get them to actually do that instead of just standing there. And I had to do this like a ton of times. So that was a tedious part of it that I had to do. I also had, I mean, again, I had to collect them all. And the game, whenever you do a level, you can only get one cousin. So if there's three cousins in the level, you have to get the first one first. And you don't have access to the other two cousins. So I had to like play a lot of these levels 3 times to get all of the cousins. I did get all the cousins, and it was fun. Like I do enjoy the game, but whenever I have a timeline or like a time limit of the shortest month in the year, it's a little bit more stressful. And I was determined to make my deadline because this is the second month I'm doing this. I really want to keep up with it. And also I know myself, if I break the time, like if I don't post it in time, I am gonna really struggle to get back into the habit. So those are two big problems. And then uh, once I'm like pretty much done with most of it, I decide that um, I probably shouldn't fill in the entire space because the entire point of the Katamari is that everything is around it, and if the entire feel like piece is completely covered in stuff, because I was gonna add like commonly seen items in the games around the cousins, then you wouldn't be able to see the background, and you wouldn't be able to see that everyone's like kind of clustered in a ball and really crammed together. So I really I really struggled with that because I mean, one of my favorite things is just cramming as much stuff as I can in these prints. It's a lot of fun. I feel like that's the entire point. And so it's very strange to me to have so much empty space, weirdly enough. So I had a little bit of trouble with that. It just made me uncomfortable. I don't like breaking my rules, especially whenever I have like 15 or so prints or something that are everything crammed into this rectangle. So, and then also, once I was pretty much done coloring this thing, I realized, wait, the whole point of the Katamari is that everything is stuck to it. And none of, as a rule in these prints, nothing's touching each other. So it just doesn't, it's not even really a Katamari, is it? Technically. And so I played around with the idea of like, okay, maybe I should go in and actually just scooch everything closer to each other so they are touching. Everything's touching, other cousins, and everything's ultimately touching the Katamari in the middle. But whenever I brought this up to my partner, he said that I can't keep changing the goalpost. I can't keep like having a new thing I want to try and I can't change the goal for the print over and over again, or else I'll never finish it. And it's not like it, and also it's designed like this. I would basically throw away all of this work to design it in a way that everything's all together, if that makes sense. So, like everything is like in their little spots, like perfectly puzzled in, essentially. So if I were to try and actually make everything stick to each other, it would undermine all of the work I did to do that part. Also, I'm starting to draw some of the creatures and what I think is iconic. So that's another thing. I've only played 1 and like a third of the games. I don't know which items are like super common that show up in multiple of the games. I'm pretty sure the cow and the bear are. there's a terrible level in Once Upon a Katamari where you have to roll around and you're trying to roll up the biggest bear or cow in the game, in the level. But the problem is there's a bunch of itty bitty tiny fucking microscopic cows that you can just go roll up by accident, and it ends the level instantly. It's very annoying. I also put like just maybe too much effort into the items around it because that's another thing. I couldn't decide if I wanted to try and stick with the blocky like low poly look of all the items in the games, or if I wanted to just kind of reference it. And that was a lot of extra work. So like I spent a lot of extra time trying to make that cow look three-dimensional and low poly kind of. But I decided that it was just a lot of work. Like I'm trying to do it with the cat now. You can see it down there. It was a lot of work. And I ended up enjoying just drawing them like in the poses they are in the game and keeping them a little bit more simple because I think that it fits better actually. Maybe if I had made everything super like angular and like blocky, then it would have worked out. But I didn't. The cousins are not like that, except maybe Slip. But the entire point of Slip is he's like a little piece of paper. So I had to like figure that out, and that was kind of stressful. But you know, it's okay. I try to do it with the ramen up there, and I'm gonna take it away. I ultimately did have a lot of fun, and I think it would be fun to do a print where everything is low poly. I love that aesthetic in these games, you know? I think that's just really neat. It really scratches an itch in my brain. Who knew? The person who draws things very angularly really enjoys really angular, low poly art style aesthetic. But it's true. It's how it is. That's how I feel. There's artists that do like 3D model a bunch stuff, and I think that's the coolest shit. And I think my AC is about to kick on, and it's really fucking loud. Oh, I hope not. That would suck. Let's just take a breath. Oh god, I'm fucking fighting the Katamari in the middle again because I wasn't happy with it, so I redraw. Yep, I say help. This is what I stick with though. I decide, okay, that's another thing. So I wasn't really sure about the color palette. I decided that all the big lines were not helpful for the aesthetic. And I thought, oh, what if I just use a limited color palette like over in the corner? I don't stick with it, but it was an idea I had. And I briefly thought about like, I think that's why I struggled so much with this one, is because I really just would not commit to any of my ideas. And that's I shouldn't do that. It's easy. I would say doing Pokemon prints, weirdly enough, is easier than this. Often I'm drawing more than this many, creatures and characters and stuff. But it's a list. I literally just go down a list and I fit it all in, and I know exactly how much space I'm gonna need. Whenever I take that out, or I have to like figure this shit out myself, it's a lot more stressful. Especially because like the iconic objects thing, like I wanted to ask people, like, oh, you've played every single Katamari game. What is an iconic object that is in like all the games that's like a meme, But I'm kind of shy. I joined a Discord of like a Katamari Discord, and I was gonna ask about it, and then I never did. And then I was getting to a point where I was getting quite frustrated with it, and I kind of just wanted to get to a point where I could be done-ish with it. I am not 100% satisfied with this print. I don't think I'm going to immediately release it. I think I'm gonna sit on it for maybe a couple weeks or a month and see if I can think of something that make me really enjoy this print and be proud of it. Like, I like parts of it. I do like that everyone's like kind of orbiting around the Katamari. I like the objects I drew. I like the vending machine and the cow. But I don't know. I guess I think there is still a large part of me that wishes I had filled the entire space in. But I also really liked the idea of it being obvious that they were all floating in space, and all of it is like clustered around that Katamari in the middle. So, um, I don't know. I um, I'm sure I'll think about it, and I'll probably figure it out, or maybe I just never release it. No, I will release it. I will release it. This was way too much work not to. I spent about 50 hours on this print, um, because there's just not a list I go down. I mean, I kind of did for the cousins, but like cousins easy. The second I had to try and pick out items or go talk to someone in a Discord that knows more shit about Katamari, I really struggled. But yeah, so this is what I've got, and I'm not super disappointed in it. I do wish I liked it a little more, but it's okay. I love the colors in this game, and I'm very excited to play more of it, actually. With this print done, there's not going to be as much pressure. So I'm actually really, really looking forward to playing through the. I have We Love Katamari now, which I've heard is like the best one. And it's the re-roll version, so it's like a renew, a re-release, remastered version. That's the word, remaster. And so I'm gonna play that, and I'm gonna enjoy it, and I'm actually gonna be able to relax while playing this game, which I'm looking forward to. But you know, I am happy. I really am happy with this. And I I mean, I wish I got into Katamari a lot like sooner. Like this kind of game is something I would have been obsessed with as a little kid. Um, I just started playing Katamari literally like I mean like I said in the beginning. I started playing it. I think what happened was I got Once Upon a Katamari as a reward for myself for finishing the electric Pokemon video. And then I got a few levels in and I was like, I gotta make a print for this. Like not sucks. This rocks. This is so cool. I love this. And it's way up my like maximalist like art style. Like I love it. My favorite levels are definitely the ones where you're inside a house and you're like collecting everything in the house on the floor. It's just so cute and cozy, and you're so tiny. I love that. It's so cute. Um, so yeah. um, I do really really like Katamari. I made a whole video ranking all the cousins. I'm a little hesitant to release it because I'm not sure if I have enough to say about them all, basically. So, we'll see. um, but in that one, I figured that that was also like another 20 minutes. I was thinking that maybe I split these into two videos. I think that is what I'm gonna do. Um, so yeah, this is just an overview video essentially of the entire print, holistically. And yeah, and then I get to show off like each of the individual cousins. My favorite cousin. No, wait, that'll be a spoiler, wouldn't it? Never mind. Okay. Um, I guess okay. As far as the drawing, though, I should say which ones I liked as far as drawing them. I really like Pooh. Pooh is really cute. Pooh is down. I'm gonna have to point all these guys out. I'll do that in the video. But Pooh is really cute. I liked his drawing, like the way I drew him. He, sticking his arms up. He's like a little plant guy. That is his actual like pose in the game. I really like how I drew Tamago. I think because he's three-dimensional. I really like how I drew Clay. So Clay is just Clay is just a gyroid from like Animal Crossing, and I love him. He's so cute. Definitely, I think one of my top favorite ones is Clay. Nine also was fun. I guess I do like the ones where like I successfully am able to show that three-dimensionality. Um, so, even though it was hard to do some of it, I should really make a print where I commit to it. I for a long time the idea of doing a print of Minecraft, but making everything rounded has been rattling in my brain for years. And I'm so tempted. But I don't know if anyone else will find it funny. Like there's no sharp edges. Basically, there's nothing that's a square in there. Technically. Um, but if that's like actually an idea that you would like to see, like let me know. I might do it. We'll see. I'm not sure. Um, I think it's funny though. um, yeah. Um, I am excited for next month. I am going to work on the bug Pokemon print. I don't know if I don't know. I mean, I'm not a good YouTuber yet or anything. I think it's okay if I say what I'm working on next. Um, I'm hoping to work on the bug print next. There, mostly because there was a customer that came by and said hi, and they said hi back in September, and I showed them on my iPad what I had already for the Pokemon for the bug print. And they're like, "Oh, that's great, cool." And then I saw them again at the end of January, and I was like, "Oh, here, let me show you." And I hadn't done any work on it. So I decided, you know, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the bug print because it's the same person who was asked for it like twice, and again, that's probably not like the most sound business reason why, but I'm just amused that I tried to show them the print that I was working on twice. um, so blah. Oh, and that's it. That's the entire thing. All right. Thank you so much for watching. You know, if you like what you see, feel free to subscribe, like, comment. All those things are very very helpful for me, and I appreciate it. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye.